Getting raided sucks. Logging in to find that your most valuable loot is gone and that you no longer own your base can be the worst experience for any Rust player. With doors changed and permissions gone, you have nothing left. Unless you build this base. With today's base appearing to be a fairly standard 2x1, you'll be able to not only keep your best loot, but you'll be able to freely go in and out of the base even if you no longer own any of the doors. You might be wondering how I work out these amazing designs and tweaks. Well, whether it's to play with friends or to test out a new design, it can be incredibly helpful to have your own server. With today's sponsor as one of the best options to set up an affordable and high-performing server, you can't go wrong with Pine Hosting. Featuring tons of server locations to keep your ping low, as well as a unique AI system that'll scan your server and detect issues before they cause problems. With Pine, you'll never have to fumble around trying to install your favorite plugins, as they have the easiest to use plugin installer. This means you can customize the experience to be exactly what you want. Whether you're trying to start your own community or you're trying to have some fun with friends, you're in luck, because starting right now, if you use code REX or the link in the description, you'll get 30% off your very own server. No, we're not here just to make some music. The piano is actually an incredibly important part of this build. When we jump out, we jump back. And that's what we're taking care of today. Placing a raised foundation so that it overlaps the seat nicely and points towards the piano. It's better to be safe than sorry with this thing, and go a little further than you think you might need to. Upgrading this foundation, you'll want to do it early. That's because later, you might not have the option depending on the box placement. Upgrading it to high qual, getting in the piano seat, and jumping out. We're inside. And that's what we wanted. Next, we want to figure out where we're going, but before we do that, we're picking up that piano because nobody needs to know that we're in here. Next, we're going to figure out which way we go and place our lower foundation right over here. You can go ahead and upgrade that. I do also recommend upgrading it fairly sturdily. And there we are. We've got the start of our base. At this point, you're going to want to either place a raised foundation so that you could box yourself in nicely and make sure you don't place anything too far out, or freehand it. If you are going to freehand box placement, make sure that you do not extend past other foundations. It will get seen from outside and give everything away. Just because you can place this far doesn't mean you should. Pulling back a little bit and placing our first box, we're then just going to place a small box here to really not get in the way too much. You can also place some boxes back here, and that's not going to really cause you any problems. But what's important is that we maintain this space here. Placing our bag so that it comes right here. You want to make sure it's hugging this wall but not going through, and that you have enough space that you could go right here. Next, we're walking outside. At this point, you want to make sure very quickly that you've done everything correctly and nothing is peeking through, and then we can close the base. Placing a raised foundation here, I recommend making it fairly sturdy so that we can control the raid path. We're going to do the same thing down here, and then place full walls everywhere up here. By doing it this way, you control the raid path and either make them blow in through one of the back walls, the roof, or raid through the doors. Any of those are optimized for this base in particular, and it's what we actually want them to do. Once this is all done, we're going to close up these doors. Now, building our TC room, we're going to want to make sure we've got this double door, and we eventually get it replaced with a garage door. A garage door makes it a lot easier to get through this base, and it's going to save us a headache. Placing our TC, we will place it like so in this back corner, and that's going to give you a lot of room for a large box here, and up to a tier 2 workbench in this slot here. Now, while normally you might place a large box right here and finish off the loot room, we can't do that for this build. Instead, we're going to be placing 2 small boxes, one right here and one right here. With that done, you do have a nice spot for a campfire here, but you want to leave this square open right here. I know the temptation's there, but we're leaving it open. And now we're going to take care of our loot drop room. Our first box should be placed by first ghosting through the back wall and making sure you're lined up straight, and then bringing it all the way to the left. Placing that first box there is going to give you just enough room to slip another box right here. And if done correctly, you should be able to place your final box here, but you might need to jump around a little bit. Next, we switch over to these small boxes and place our first one here. Our second one here, and our third one right here. With all that done, we can go ahead and place our lower shelf, upgrading that. And on this shelf, we're going to place a locker. Now, if you don't have the garage door, you will not be able to place the locker as I've done here, and that does compromise some of the base. Placing the locker across the gap and onto both foundations, giving us enough room for a furnace over here. At this point, we can go ahead and place our first bag across this gap. And if we have a teammate, we can place another bag for them right here. Now, of course, we are still missing our shelf in that room, and in order to do that, we're just going to come over here, place a raised foundation here. You'll notice you can't place one here. And then we're going to connect a half wall, a floor triangle, and come inside and connect to that floor triangle. Upgrade that to wood or stone, and destroy all of these pieces. Now coming up here, we can go ahead and place a couple more boxes. One right here, one right here, one right here, and even a small box there. Though that can be a little harder to fit and not something that's required. What do we do now? Well, first, let's put our valuables in this box here. F1 killing, we're gonna be respawning inside. Spawning in underneath our base, we see our body, as well our boxes. Looting through, we have access to all of our resources, and if we wanted to, we can bring them into our core. This foundation is not likely to be raided ever. With a high qual foundation, every other raid path is cheaper, meaning whatever you put down here will stay down here. And the best part is, even if you've lost everything up there and you need it back, all you have to do is jump. Jumping up, we're free to rain through this part of the base. Now, what if they took the TC over, broke it, and we just got this part back, but they put a double door here? You wouldn't be able to jump into here. However, if we destroy these small boxes, we can actually just walk right into here as well. This would then allow us to take whatever loot might still be in here, transfer it to this box, and go back down there. Once you grab all of your loot and you're ready to go, whether you want to recover this base and put a new TC down or just leave, you can walk on out. Now, of course, this is incredibly broken and might get patched soon. A big shout out and credit to Gabe, who did discover this trick. Head on over to his channel if you want to see a lot of cool Rust stuff. If you guys like this base design, if you guys like this video, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for future content. Until next time, enjoy your wipe and peace out.